Hello. We are going over the 324 biblical prophecies that prove Jesus is the Messiah. You are watching this on the Halachgoy channel of YouTube. I'm a Halachgoy, and you can be one too. 324 biblical prophecies that prove Jesus is the Messiah. Prophecy number 29. Prefigures Christ's one for all death. This prophecy is found in the book of Leviticus, chapter 16, verses 15 to 17. He shall then slaughter the goat for the sin offering for the people, and take its blood behind the curtain, and do to it as he will with the bull's blood. He shall sprinkle it on the atonement cover and on the front of it. In this way he will make atonement for the most holy place because of the uncleanness and rebellion of the Israelites, whatever their sins have been. He is to do the same to the tent of meeting, which is among them in the midst of their uncleanness. No one is to be in the tent of meeting from the time Aaron goes to make atonement in the most holy place until he comes out, having made atonement for himself, the household, and the whole community of Israel. We find the fulfillment of this prophecy in the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verses 7 through 14. But only the high priest entered the inner room, and that only once a year, and never without blood, which he offered for himself and for the sins of the people that had committed in ignorance. The Holy Spirit was showing by this that the way to the most holy place had not yet been discovered, as long as the first tabernacle was still standing. This is the illustration for the present time, indicating that the gifts and sacrifice being offered were not able to clear the conscience of the worshiper. They are only a matter of food and drink in various ceremonial washings, external regulations applying until the time of the new order. When Christ came as high priest of the good things that are already here, he went through the greater and more perfect tabernacle that is not man-made, that is to say, not part of this creation. He did not enter by means of the blood of goats and calves, but he entered the most holy place once for all by his own blood, having obtained eternal redemption. The blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of a heifer sprinkled on those who are ceremonially unclean sanctify them so that they are outwardly clean. How much more, then, will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself unblemished to God, cleanse our consciousness from acts that lead to death, so that we may serve the living God. What the book of Hebrews, the author of the book of Hebrews is saying, is that there was one way into the holiest place on the planet Earth, the Holy of Holies. There's one way to come in. That was the way that Moses was shown and Aaron was shown how to get in, by the use of the ceremonial offerings outlined in the book of Leviticus. Now, there was a more secret passage that was not shared with Moses that Jesus was able to get into, not using the methods prescribed in the Torah to Moses, but rather a different way that Jesus was able to enter through his own methods. I would feel a lot more comfortable if this was indicated anywhere in the book of Leviticus or anywhere in the old part of the Bible that there was supposed to be this other way to get in. Now we know that there are many gates to the temple, but there's only one gate that was ever shown to go into the Holy of Holies part of the temple. And there was one way that was prescribed in the Torah, in the book of Leviticus, of this is how you enter. There was a variety of sacrifices, very detailed, a lot of steps to it. The high priest had to do lots of different things, and you can only do it one time out of the year. Now we're told that all that was some weird thing that God came up with to say, okay, this is how we're going to tell you guys to do it. And somehow God had given them this job to do all this stuff, when in fact all they really needed was something else. Then why did God give Moses and Aaron such a detailed plan of saying, this is what I want you to do? The details of that plan I do not see in any way occurring on the cross. It's like we're not even trying to show how this was a foreshadowing, because you can't say it's a foreshadowing. You've got all these different sets. You got the goats, you got the lamb, you got the rams, you got the bulls, you've got ceremonial washings that are occurring. A lot of things that are happening. None of this stuff that's happening in the book of Leviticus occurred in conjunction with the cross. So how are the two connected? Well, the writer of the book of Hebrews says, well, that was a different door. We got a secret door that nobody knew about, and this is how they're getting in. Don't tell me that these two ideas are somehow connected. This is not an honest script. This is not an honest way of building on a typology shown in the book of Leviticus. You can't say this is the typology of the book of Leviticus and this is how it's being built on and fulfilled, because you're just simply saying that there's another way in the room, and in the book of Leviticus there was no other way in the room, and nowhere in the Torah and nowhere in the Tanakh was it ever hinted that there's another way in the room, and therefore I have to reject the description of this that's shown in the book of Hebrews. Sorry. The next one we will be looking at from Leviticus chapter 16, verse 27, suffering outside of the camp. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.